Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys a free downloadable that you can get from my website to print at home, and you can make your very own milk carton. This is kind of what the milk carton looks like here, with little logos and the QR code on the side. And it's designed to be about 17.5 by 17.5 when you print it, but it might be just a little bit smaller than that, depending on your printer settings and all that. But it does create kind of a cool looking little, milk carton when you're done. And I thought I'd just show you guys the steps to how to do this with the print here. So I'll put this to the side. When you print out the paper, it should be something that looks like this. Certainly, this is kind of just barely fits on an A4 paper. If you're dealing with 8.5 by 11, it should be a little bit bigger, so you might be okay. But what we want to do first is, with the pattern side facing down, I'm just going to fold my paper into a big triangle both ways. And then with the color or pattern side up, I'm going to fold vertically and horizontally. And this will help me get some basic creases established so I know which way to fold things. Go ahead and fold it into a triangle here with the open flaps facing up at the top. Now, you don't really necessarily worry about measuring anything, because I never really know exactly what dimension your paper is going to print at. What we're going to do is we're going to fold this part up, and I can just fold to the imaginary line that you see between right here and right here. Now, there's going to probably be just a tiny little bit of white showing, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead and fold up as close to the edge as I can on this, and you can kind of use that as a guide. Get a good crease going. Open it up, open everything, fold it the other way, and do the same thing going this way too. And in this case, you should have a lot more edge to work with, depending on which way you went first, of course, but this is the edge then that you get to see a little bit more of. Open everything up, and I'm just going to make sure that all those creases go the right way so that I can get the base of my milk carton here. Then I'm just going to take each of these tips and fold down into the center here, creating a nice little triangle so that I get a nice smooth edge for my milk carton. I'll do that to all four sides. Then I'm just going to go ahead and fold right through the part in the middle here where the QR code and the logo are. And I'm going to use the guide of where the ink ends up here so that I know how far I'm going to fold this part out. And you can kind of just do one at a time if you prefer, and it really kind of lines up nicely with the words milk when you do this, but I can kind of do this for both of them. And then you want to kind of look at how much that was, and then we're going to have to kind of eyeball it for the other side. Pull everything open here. You can kind of see, how far you'd probably need to go to make it about the same. So that should give us the creases there we need for that. Then I want to go ahead and fold down, and when I do this, you might find some kind of a little tiny hint of where to fold down to, and it's hard to see on these two, but you definitely can see it on this part because it's right where the red begins. So I can go ahead and fold these two going this way, and then get this one too. Just folding up until you just see the pink peak of red there coming out. And then you can use a similar technique that we showed before with this. You're going to fold up and try to get the same amount of space on this side of the crease on this side too. And it should also happen to line up nicely with the little edges, if there are any. It's pretty hard to see. There's like a tiny little difference between the two, but it might be hard to find. So just kind of use this as a guide to help you as you do this fold. And get that part folded over. And that should give us the preliminary creases there for that. Now, I know that this part here is the front, and that's the part that doesn't have the creases and folds in. On this side is where I want to put the diagonal crease that'll help me close off the carton. So if you'll recall, that's in this little tiny area here. I'm just going to create a diagonal crease that goes from right up here where that edge is down to the bottom. So I can go ahead and just start kind of guiding it along. It's good to kind of pinch as you work your way and then just try to crease it out. And it's okay if the crease goes a little beyond, that's alright, but we do want to try to make sure that we're getting this as straight as we can. So I'll get that part done. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side too. So I'll just go ahead, get this part creased over. And do the other side too. And this should give us all the preliminary creases we need so that then we can just use a little bit of glue to finish everything off. So you probably want to have a piece of paper that you can put down so that you don't get glue all over your table. And working on the sides that don't have the crisscrosses, so the front and the back here, I'm going to go ahead and pull these sides in. Now when you do this, because this is a little bit larger, you'll notice that it does extend beyond this creased edge. And as I mentioned in the previous tutorial, you're welcome to fold here all the way out if you prefer. I just like keeping this here, and then I just pinch when I crease over to create a little edge. That's just kind of up to you guys of what you want to do. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on this part here, and then on this whole big triangle. We could do this first one. This one always is easier. It's the other ones that require you to get your fingers a little dirty here, but you can always first focus on just getting these edges together, and then we can worry about getting everything in the middle pushed down the right way where it needs to be. And I could do the other side. And this one then needs to be done while holding it kind of in your hands. And this can always be a little messy. I like having like a wet cloth nearby so I can use that to kind of wipe my hands off as I'm working. But this is a part where it's really good to try to focus on just getting these edges lined up first, and then make sure everything comes together for the box nicely. And then we can worry about getting it all smushed over. So you can see that edge is created. And I'm just going to follow the same steps on the other side too, so that I can get all of this collapsed. And like when I showed just the tutorial for this origami, I like to just glue both of these at the same time, because you're going to kind of naturally collapse everything with this next step anyway. So it's good to kind of just get both ready with the glue, and then your hands can just be messy for one time and you should be able to get it all kind of secured the way you want. And like I said, I like to use the edges first when I do this, so kind of collapse it, keep things lined up nicely. And then do the other side too. Once you kind of get all that glued down, you can do the last little bit. If you want to make sure that, like I said, if you want to make sure the edges up here are nice and glued, sometimes those parts get ignored when you're doing this because you're trying to keep your fingers from getting dirty everywhere. But get that part glued down a little bit. And too, I shouldn't have thrown my paper away yet. As the last little bit, I'm going to just pop out these tops, and they might already be kind of snagged by some of the creases in folding we've done. But we want to pop them out just for a second to make sure that we can get a little bit of glue on them so that we don't have trouble with them later. And I'll just get them out of here really quick so we can get to them. And then this is the time when you can go ahead and reiterate the creases that we've made. Go ahead and make sure that things are clear by kind of pushing down, just pinching a little bit on each of these sides to make sure that we're getting a nice clean edge. Do this one over here too. And then we've got these nice diagonal creases on the sides that we're going to use to help us get this part over. And this part too. And it can be a little tricky sometimes. You'll make sure you get that edge here to pop out right, but you should be able to get a nice little completed box. And like I say, you can always just leave it like this. You can fold over the edge to kind of create like a finished off box. You can also open it up and create a true lipped kind of carton there with that little part there. So lots of different ways that you can enjoy this pattern. And I can mention, I think I might have another version of this for the shorter one sometime when I do some series on food for lunches and things like that, lunch boxes and stuff. So look for that later. But for now, at least we've got these guys to enjoy. So you can also use the cow paper that I made before and use that to make one of these guys too. So that's kind of fun if you like. So I'll have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.